Alright, Comer Alexa, I have some tag team name ideas. The Electoral Brawlage, the Municipals, Mayors on a Mission, or MOM for short, the Pantsuit Posse, and the Review Age Outlaws. What do you think?
Let's leave it up to the residents of LumberJillville. Maybe post a poll?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll actually ask Secretary Stase to make a post about it after this video airs. I mean, with today's figure history video being Kelly Kelly, I really wanted to come up with a name that was better than that. I mean, I guess we could call ourselves Mayor.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. That is dumb. We definitely should not use Mayor. But hey, you know what? At least we have our tag team gear all set.
Wait, we do?
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured I could just dress like you so that we match. I mean, does this not work for you?
I don't know if the residents of LumberJillville are ready to see you dressed like that.
You know what? I think you're right. I don't think they're used to seeing me dressed so classy. Oh, but we could wear matching hats.
I was talking about the leggings, but I guess hats would be cool.
Good.
Hey, don't you think we should be training for this match? Especially since it's a ladder match for the titles.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of dragging my feet with that aspect. But here's the thing. Diva Marie knows that I'm absolutely terrified of heights, terrified of ladders. She's trying to use that against us.
Don't worry, Mayor Aaron. I'll help you work through it. We got this.
Thanks, Comer Alexa. You know, today's figure history has got me going back in time and thinking about the very first video that I ever filmed here for LumberJillville.
Oh, the Kelly Kelly Elite one you never posted that you filmed in your closet.
Yeah, that's the video. But you know what? As I was watching it, it made me realize that me and you have been through everything here together in the almost 3 years that we've had the channel. And we've come a long way. And not only us, women's wrestling figures in general have come a long way. Look at Kelly Kelly, for example. Today's figure history, we're covering all of her figures. Her first figure represents a TV appearance where she was stripping. The last figure she had, which happens to be the very first Women's Elite, represents a title defense that she successfully defended her Divas title against Beth Phoenix. It's pretty amazing. These women have come a long way. I'm real excited for today's figure history.
I'm excited for it too, but after this we need to train for the ladder match.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll make sure to hold the base of the ladder real stable while you climb it. Aw, frick. Alright, fine. I guess I'll work on getting over my fear of climbing that ladder. But you know what? I know you'll be there helping me. And that's what matters. I know we got this. But first, let me start this figure history of Kelly Kelly. Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Before we get started, make sure to hit subscribe to become an official resident of LJV and get a first look at all future women's wrestling figures and additional videos like today's figure history of Kelly Kelly. Now this figure history is a special one that I've been saving for a special time, and considering we are in Women's History Month 2023, I wanted to do a special women's wrestling figure history. And honestly, I couldn't find one more special than this. Now, I know it might seem random. It's Kelly Kelly, right? She only has 6 figures. However, the progression of her figures, as far as quality goes hand in hand with the progression of what the figure represents. Her first figure she ever had released, as you'll see, represents a segment where she was stripping. The last figure is the very first Women's Elite, and it represents a night where she defended successfully her Divas Championship against Beth Phoenix. So to me, it's a pretty important figure history showing just how far women's wrestling figures have came, but also just how far some of these women's superstars like Kelly Kelly have come in their careers. And I couldn't think of a better figure history to do this month than this one. Now, I probably will do additional ones this month because I really want to load this month with a lot of content. But to me, this one's special, and you'll see why as we go through the history. Now, that being said, let's get started and take a look at her first in the line figure. Kelly Kelly's first figure ever in the WWE ECW Series 2 line by Jax, released in 2007. This attire is from the June 20th, 2006 episode of WWE ECW during Kelly Kelly's Expose segment. In this segment, she would dance and strip down to this attire. Yikes. So yes, Kelly Kelly's first ever figure was based on a segment where she stripped, and she actually took this top off in that segment, but thankfully they included it here. But just a bizarre choice, and again, showed you just how far these women have came, right? And on top of that, this figure, the quality is just, it's terrible. Now, I've mentioned before, I am not a fan of the Jax women's figures. They did a couple really awesome ones. There was an exclusive limited edition Melina that was really good. Some Mickie James ones, I think, were okay. But for the most part, I think they're horrible. And one of the main reasons is the awkward, really bizarre body sculpt. It's almost like the Jax designers have never actually seen a real female body. They've just played video games their whole lives. And that's what they made here. Just exaggerated features that are kind of ridiculous. And it doesn't even stand very well. That's why my hand is holding on to this figure at all times. Now, looking at the figure itself here, looking at the face sculpt, it is not good. Not a good face. I think it looks nothing like Kelly Kelly. And this hair, you would think it looks good because it's like a sandy blonde color. But the material they use on the women's figures at this time kind of leaves it with a sticky residue over the years. So yeah, the head and the hair definitely swing and the miss. Now, like I mentioned, the body sculpt is just ridiculously exaggerated, over the top. But the attire here, I will say the one thing I do like about this figure is I think the metallic silver bra, the metallic silver really pops. I think it looks cool, right? And then the bottom's just a plain black, and then she has these black high-heeled boots on. So, yeah, definitely not a good start for Kelly Kelly, but wait till you see how good it gets. WWE Ruthless Aggression Series 31 by Jax, released in 2008. This attire is from the January 23rd, 2007 episode of WWE ECW, where Extreme Expose would debut. The dance group consisted of Kelly Kelly, Layla L, and Brooke Adams. On this night, they would dance in the ring to You Can Do It by Ice Cube. Yes, they were a dance group. Now, before we get to her Mattel figures, we have to cover these Jax ones, and this one, this Ruthless Aggression Series 31, is actually re-released in Adrenaline Series 30. The only difference is in that Adrenaline 2-pack, it has elbow pads and knee pads, and honestly, that figure is in a lot better shape than the one I got of Ruthless Aggression 31. Now, honestly, I kind of got duped by a seller on Mercari. It said it was never played with in good condition, and this thing is beat to crap. It's even missing the tip of its nose, so I don't really think it's fair to look at this one, but let's jump to the next figure, and I'll show you since it's basically the exact same one as this. WWE Adrenaline Series 30 by Jax, released in 2008. This figure was an exact re-release of the Ruthless Aggression Series 31 figure, with the only difference being that this figure included knee pads and elbow pads. It was also released with Balls Mahoney. So on the right, we have that Adrenaline Series 32 pack Kelly Kelly. And on the left, we have that Ruthless Aggression Series 31. As you can see, they are the exact same figure. The only difference is this one obviously has the elbow pads and knee pads, but they are the same figure. So I just wanted to show you that side by side. And yes, the Adrenaline 2-pack one is in much better condition, so we're not even going to look up close at this Ruthless Aggression one because it's the same figure, but this one's in really bad shape. So see ya! Now, looking at this Adrenaline 2-pack one, I'm going to be honest with you. This face is not half bad. They actually did a pretty good job capturing her likeness. And it might not show up too well on the camera, but it actually does look really, really good, to be honest with you. And the hair this time, I think it looks a lot more better, a lot more blonde. It's not all sandy blonde. And yeah, the material is still kind of that sticky plastic. But either way, I think it's definitely an improvement in that face sculpt and scan there and the hair. Now, the body, once again, is the awkward proportion body that's just ridiculous. Now, looking at the attire, it is mostly painted on. And what I mean by that is this is just a generic bra mold that they use, and they painted a little black to kind of give it layers there on the sides, on the front, and even along the back there. But the red part is a sculpted on piece. Now her elbow pads and knee pads are that sticky rubber that over time gets really gross, so I'm not going to spend too much time covering those. But I do like the addition of the elbow pads and knee pads when you compare it to the Ruthless Aggression figure. She just looks like she's actually wrestling and not doing a dance routine or a dance segment like she actually wore this during. Now looking at her arm here, she has a painted on arm sleeve. And then her bottoms have a little bit of sculpting to show folds like it's fabric, but it is mostly painted on the front. And then we have those high-heeled boots once again. So by no means is this a great figure in my opinion, but I actually think it's pretty darn decent for being a Jakks women's figure. And I would like to think that this might be one of their best, even though by no means is it good in my opinion. Now that being said, let's move on to Mattel. WWE Basic Series 6 by Mattel, released in 2010. This attire is from WrestleMania 25, which took place on April 9th, 2009. On this night, Kelly would compete in the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Santino Marella, under the disguise of Santina Marella, would go on to win. Ugh. Now it's time to see how Mattel did with their Kelly figures. Now this is Kelly's first in the line Mattel figure, released all the way back in 2010, all the way back in Basic Series 6. Now the basic line at the time of this video is up to 138, so this is amazing to know that this figure was in the 6th set of that Basic Series. But yeah, they did an excellent job here. Now the first thing that you'll notice is this figure actually freaking stands. Those Jakks ones don't stand, and they have no peg holes. Here, we have peg holes if we want to put a display stand underneath her, but she stands pretty good on her own. And also, this is a lot more reminiscent of Kelly when she competed in the ring. The previous Jakks figures really didn't implement that in the attires. But here, we have a pretty eye-catching attire here. Now, starting off with this face sculpt and scan, I think the sculpt is good. Now, it is important to note that this was way before the TrueFX face scan, which I wasn't really a huge fan of a lot of how the faces turned out at the time. I'm a big fan of the TrueFX face scan. And here, yeah, the face definitely looks a little bit off, almost looks a little bit lifeless. But I still think it's an improvement over all the Jakks Kelly figures in my opinion. So I definitely think it looks okay, but it's definitely not a perfect scan. From some angles, it looks better than others, but it's okay. It's passable, especially for the time. Now the hair is this like platinum blonde type color. It's pretty bright, just one solid color, but it's definitely got a cool sculpt to it. A lot of volume going on there. Now, as far as the body sculpt goes, it works really well, but this is the generic sports bra top that we saw time and time again on women's figures. We still see it sometimes on the women's figures. But here it's really noticeable because as you can see, the top is painted on and that white kind of continues off of the sculpt onto the chest, and you could see that sculpted ledge there that really shouldn't be there if you're trying to depict her actual attire. But either way, it still is eye-catching. It's a white base color with pink accents, little silver studs painted throughout. Moving on down to the bottoms, we have these pink shorts painted on with this white belt with silver accents, even the buckle there painted all the way around the back. We have white trim around the shorts. And then we have white boots with this little white sleeve going above the boots. So I think this Kelly figure is awesome. I just think it really does. If you look at this figure and you don't know it's a Kelly figure, you could figure out who it is. You know, it's close enough as far as resemblance goes and definitely an attire. And this is definitely a strong start for Mattel with Kelly. WWE Basic Series 18 Raw Super Show by Mattel, released in 2012. This attire is from the September 9th, 2011 edition of SmackDown. On this night, Divas champion Kelly would defeat Natalya. So as we continue to take a closer look at all Kelly's figures, what's pretty freaking awesome is not only are the figures evolving with quality, but her character along with these figures continues to evolve as we're going through these. And it even gets better with her last figure next, so stay tuned for that. But taking a closer look at this one, this is once again a really appealing figure, just like the Basic Series 6. It really does stand out. Now looking closer at the face sculpt, This sculpt is different than basic Series 6, and honestly, I don't know if I like it better or worse, but just like Series 6, I think it's definitely passable, and I think they did a good job with the sculpt here, gave her a nice, beautiful smile, and yeah, once again, this is before TrueFX face scan technology, so it is going to be a little bit off, and just like Series 6, it's a little bit off, but definitely passable. The hair sculpt is once again the same, but this time we have like a sandy blonde color, dirty blonde, I guess you could say, and it looks really good. Now, as far as the body sculpt and attire goes, we do have that generic sports bra top, but here it's actually camouflaged and hard to tell on display. And the reasoning is, instead of a white base color that makes it really obvious, we have this blue base color and little blue dots on the top to add some accents. The bottoms are painted blue. We have a white belt and a white buckle with little silver intricate studs painted on. And this is the first time in the Mattel line that we get knee pads here. And then we have short white boots. So yeah, this is definitely a cool Kelly Kelly figure and one of the best in my opinion. But the next one is Queen. The very first ever WWE Women's Elite. Kelly Kelly from Elite Series 17 by Mattel, released in 2012. This attire is from the Night of Champions 2011 pay-per-view, which took place on September 18th. Where she successfully defended the Divas Championship against Beth Phoenix. And this is what it's all about, folks, honestly. This figure is beautiful. And on top of that, this is the very first female to be included in the WWE Elite line, which is pretty dang historical, especially for LumberJillville. This might be the most historical figure in my collection because it is so important to the evolution of the Elite line for the women. And here, the first female that they made in that Elite line, they did an amazing job. I mean, this figure MOC is gorgeous. This figure loose is gorgeous. And I'll show you at MOC next. Now, taking a closer look at the face, once again, it was before TrueFX face scan technology. But look how amazing that face sculpt is in the paint application. Even the dimples in her cheeks are sculpted in. They do an excellent job. This is one of the best face scans and sculpts that I've seen pre-TrueFX face scan technology, and it just looks awesome. Now that hair color is that dirty blonde color with that nice volume-esque sculpt, and that looks really good. Now we have this Divas Championship, which is really big. It is oversized in my opinion, but it looks really good, and it doesn't really take away from the overall figure too much. That's just a little gripe that I have, because this is a really high-quality title. It's like a metallic, vac metallized silver with pink accents. And looking at the figure itself, I mean, look how amazing this is. It's striking. Now, they gave her a nice tan skin color here, which looks really good in contrast with the teal color of the attire. Now, I have done a full review on this figure on the channel, so check that out. But you know what? We're going to take a closer look at it once again because it is that good. Now, what's really cool is she comes with this, I want to call it a jacket accessory, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, just something that goes over the arms and goes up, but it really doesn't come in the front. Either way, it's very unique, very accurate to that night, and it's gorgeous. It looks awesome. And it's very high quality. It's got white trim sewn on and even little silver accents throughout. Now, if we take that off, wouldn't that be something if I pop the arm off? That would be the worst thing I've ever done. So, looking at the attire under that, we have that once again sculpted on sports bra mold. However, it is kind of hidden by that teal paint application. We have white accents and little silver studs painted on. On the back, we even have the detail of the white strings going down the back there. The bottoms are a teal color, and the white belt is highly detailed in the application here of the paint. We even have little studs of the belt buckle painted on in silver all the way around. We have two white pockets painted on. We have white knee pads and white boots. So yeah, this is 100% one of my favorite elites in my collection. And is it the most important women's elite? It might be the most important women's figure in my opinion. So this is that Kelly Kelly Elite 17 MOC, and I've had this thing, since pre-LumberJillville. This is actually the first video review that I filmed, and the reason it didn't appear first on the channel is because I was sitting in my closet saying, hey, welcome to LumberJillville, and I was like, check this figure out, it's really cool. And when I got to the point where I unboxed it, I couldn't do it. I said, I gotta find another figure to review. I cannot, because this figure is so significant in the importance of women's wrestling figures. But on top of that, it is a gorgeous figure MOC, and I absolutely love this. I will always keep this in my collection. It'll always be displayed somewhere in LumberJillville. It won't be put in my closet because of the significance. And yeah, this is just an amazing, gorgeous figure, and the packaging is also pretty freaking amazing as well. It's definitely a unique shape, unique design. And if you know if they have protectors that fit this, let me know. I need to get one. But yeah, one day my goal is to get this thing signed, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like MOC because I love this figure, and it's one of the first things I ever bought in LumberJillville. And now it's time for me to rank Kelly Kelly's 6 figures from my least favorite all the way down to which one I think is the best Kelly Kelly figure released. At number 6, we have WWE ECW Series 2 made by Jax. And we're going to sit her down because she doesn't stand. At number 5, we have Ruthless Aggression Series 31 once again by Jax. At number 4, we have Adrenaline Series 30 by Jax. Now this is kind of funny. I'll explain to you in a minute. Now going into the top 3. At number 3, we have Basic Series 6 by Mattel. At number 2, we have Basic Series 18 Raw Super Show, also by Mattel. And at number 1, to no one's surprise, we have one of the best and the most significant women's elites of all time, with Kelly Kelly from Elite Series 17, made by Mattel. Now this is the first time in LumberJillville figure history that my rankings have gone in reverse chronological order. So I think her best figures go in order from newest to oldest, and that's definitely a first. But if you're going to get any Kelly Kelly figure, I cannot stress enough how much you should go out and seek this Elite Series 17. It's the most expensive of all of them, but by far it is worth it. And if you're a women's wrestling figure collector, this is a must-have, a must-need for your collection. So go out and get this and spend the money to do it, because I promise you it's worth it. I hope you enjoyed today's figure history video of Kelly Kelly. Now please let me know in the comments below who you'd like to see me do a women's wrestling figure history on in the future. Truth being told, I am in works of a Carmella and also a Charlotte Flair figure history that should be out in the near future, so stay tuned for those. But I want to know who y'all want to see so I can go out, try to find the figures, start doing my research, because at the end of the day, I absolutely enjoy doing these videos. I love reviewing women's wrestling figures, but these are so fun to do because I do so much research. And not only the attires, but what the attires represent and the careers of these amazing women and how they've progressed. And honestly, considering it's the start of Women's History Month 2023, I wanted to start it off with a women's wrestling figure history that was meaningful to the month. And honestly, I couldn't find a better one than Kelly Kelly. We went from her first figure, the subpar Jax figure, representing when she stripped, all the way into her last figure released by Mattel at the time of this video, which was the very first women's elite figure, and also represented when she defended successfully the Divas title against Beth Phoenix. That's pretty freaking amazing to see how far Kelly Kelly has come and how far these women have came in the world of professional wrestling. Now, anyone that watches LumberJillville knows the amount of respect and love that I have for these women, and it is fantastic to see how far these women have came, and I can't stress that enough. So, with that being said, once again, I appreciate you watching. This is a very special one to me, and it means a lot. So, thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Make sure to hit subscribe, and have a great night, y'all. Hi, y'all. Welcome to LumberJillville's first ever toy shop toy review. Now, in this series, we're going to be discussing different MOC... Okay. Hey, y'all. Welcome to LumberJillville's first ever... Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville's first ever toy shop toy review.